I'm offering you a choice. To fight with knives or guns. But just remember this. Whichever way you choose, the loser will be a long time dead.
Have Gun Will Travel. Starring Mr. John Daner as Paladin. San Francisco, 1875. The Carlton Hotel. Headquarters of the man called Paladin.
It's a Paladin. It's a Paladin.
Over here, hey boy.
Oh, Mr. Paladin. Message.
Oh, thank you, hey boy.
Mr. Paladin.
Yes? Oh. How do you do?
Badly. In the future, when you send a note to a lady, kindly instruct the waiter not to hand the note to the lady's companion.
I apologize. Perhaps I can recompense you in some way?
Mr. Webster, one answer?
Tell him my price is $1,000, hey boy. Madam,
It caused me the most dreadful kind of embarrassment.
Well, I am indeed sorry, madam. If you will
I
allow me...
already told him $1,000.
He actually insisted that I was flirting with you across that entire dining room last night.
It was ridiculous. You were the soul of decorum. Webster said what, hey boy?
He turned red like a stove, but he said he'd pay.
Oh, good.
He forbade me to ever communicate with you again.
That's bad. The gentleman is your husband?
Certainly not.
Well, that's good. But we'll have to show him, you and I, that absolutely nothing occurred to cause him to act this way.
Of course.
What time may I pick you up for dinner?
8 o'clock.
Always a good hour.
Until then.
Oh, boy. What I tell Miss Webster?
Oh, tell him I'll find out why 3 of his riders have been waylaid on open rangeland, and I'll do what I can for him.
Oh, yes. Have gun will travel?
Exactly. The trail to the Brazos River is a long and lonely one, and it took 10 days hard riding to get there. Once I was there, it was nothing but brackish, muddy water, the product of an unfriendly nature. A mile beyond, the trail sloped up into the rocks. It was hard going.
Hold it right there. Man's on your left, man's on your right, and I'm here. Comes your rod. Unbuckle that gun belt and let her drop. Climb down. Don't wiggle a hair.
Boys,
Yes, sir.
you stand behind him, Pete.
Yes.
Mister, can you see that sign?
Yeah.
Then read it.
Closed range, keep out, O'Banion Ranch.
You cross.
This is open range according to the map.
According to me, it's open when I say it's open. You boys can have his clothes and horse. I'll just take your gun. Hey, he's got a derringer. Get him, Pete. You don't talk so tall now, does he?
One of you ought to be able to split wood and fetch water.
We take orders from Cyrus.
Good morning. Is this the O'Banion Ranch?
Well, I declare. Look at the wind blew in.
I have some business with whoever owns this ranch.
Move on, fella. Next ranch is 20 miles. No handouts here.
I want to see the owner.
Maybe we ought to let him see the owner if he takes a bath first. Owner here's kind of persnickety about dirt. Water trough, feet.
Get out of here! You think you're pretty smart. And you're dirtier than he is. Get out of here! I'll turn you both!
Well, I declare, mister, it didn't look like there was much man under them raggedy clothes and all. Here, you can't go in there.
I'm looking for a banyan.
I'm Miss O'Banion. I own this ranch.
I told him not to come in, Miss Margaret.
Is this one of our men, Cookie?
No, ma'am, just drifted in.
I see.
That's quite a collection of guns, miss.
Collecting guns happens to be my foreman's hobby.
I know. He collected mine. I'd like to meet your foreman.
Well, then come back in a week. Cyrus and his range crew left this morning on a cattle drive.
I could use some kitchen help now, Miss Margaret. With Cyrus gone, I can't get help out of the hands.
And hire this one if you wish. But see that he takes a bath and put him into some clean clothing.
When a man is stripped of his horse, his saddle, and his guns, his problems become simple. He must have food and a place to rest. Once those things are attained, he can go about the job of retrieving his lost property, even if the job of washing dishes and serving meals comes first.
Here, you stay out of that stew.
Well, a man can get mighty hungry around this place working in the kitchen.
I've been watching you. You ain't no saddle bum. Just who are you, mister?
Would you believe me if I told you I was the oldest son of an English nobleman?
Well, not hardly. A little callus on your thumb there. Wouldn't be from a gun hammer, would it?
It might, Cookie.
You're here after someone or something?
Tell me about the foreman, Cyrus.
Hand me that other pot there. Cyrus runs the whole ranch for Miss Margaret. Has ever since the folks died.
Why doesn't she run it?
She's a lady. You can see that. Drinks tea and reads poultry books all day.
Still an O'Banion.
Pouring them peeled potatoes.
You know, Cookie, puzzles me. This kind of range should support thousands of head of cattle. On my way here, I didn't see 20 steers.
Well, maybe you didn't look good. Cyrus does a good job for Miss Margaret. She don't have to turn a finger.
Pretty hard thing not to turn on a ranch this size, even if you are the owner and a lady.
Would you want somebody like her out there mixing with this ranching crowd? Like Jake and them others sitting outside now waiting to pay you back for dumping them in the trough? Or is somebody like her better off inside with her tea and poetry?
Nothing wrong with tea and poetry, Cookie, but it's not a substitute for living.
You carry a tray into her now.
All right.
And you be polite, you hear?
All right. Tea?
Thank you. Will you pour, please?
1 lump or 2.
One, please. I probably should say I think that you've done very well so far.
Thank you.
But breakfast was served quite expertly. You show considerable household ability. Would you kindly stop staring at me like that?
Yes, ma'am.
A good servant tries to be as inconspicuous as possible.
Yes, ma'am.
The books on the mantel, please bring them.
Of course. Tennyson or Shelley, ma'am?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
But it does. I recommend this one. Shakespeare.
Oh, I think he's very common.
In certain passages, maybe. He deals with common ideas, but in words of uncommon beauty.
Really? And are you a poet?
No, but I've read some.
I see. You may go.
As you say. Oh, I've drawn up a list of odd jobs for the men. Hard work always improves ranch discipline.
You've drawn up a list?
Yes.
Well, I understand you're in some difficulty with the men.
Nothing that can't be straightened out.
Well, in that case, please feel free to oversee things.
Thank you.
Saladin,
Yes, ma'am?
I hope they thrash you within an inch of your life.
No. Any of you others want to take it up? And all of you can get to work for a change. You. Cookie needs water. Hop to it.
Yeah.
You. Firewood on the double. Half cord by sundown. You. In the barn. Curry those animals. Now, the rest of you, there's enough work for all hands around here. If you can't find any, let me know. I'll find it for you. Now hop.
What about me?
You and I are going to check the feed and water conditions, Jake. Any objections?
So long as I can't whop you, I'll ride with you. Well, that's about the size of it. What do you think?
Lots of grass. Plenty of water. Everything but cattle. Does Miss O'Banion know there's not even breeding stock left out here?
He knows what Cyrus tells her. No more.
Oh. Go on.
He even makes sure we don't get visitors through here poking around, asking the kind of questions you're asking.
I'm sure of that.
Does he keep any sort of records?
Feed bills, ledger book in the barn. If you're going to buck Cyrus and his range crew, don't count on much help.
Well, I'm going to count on you for one thing, Jake. Those books. I want to look them over. Now, wait.
Miss Margaret, what's she doing out here? Ain't seen her on horseback since you went away to that fancy school.
Go on back, Jake. I'll be right along.
Yes, sure.
You go.
Oh, Mr. Paladin. Oh, I'm glad you happened along. My saddle seems
I didn't happen along.
What?
You knew I was riding out here. You circled ahead to this point, then you dismounted, loosened the cinch here.
Dare you speak to me that way?
Well, it's time somebody spoke to you some way.
What are you talking about?
You. Now, this is the first time you've ridden your own ranch. I've never seen you look prettier. Even the breeches are becoming.
A gentleman would never...
You know, you ride very well. I suspect when your parents' backs were turned, you used to slide out the window and pick out a horse and ride bareback.
Well, what if I did?
And between embroidery practice and elocution lessons, you even dreamed about running your own ranch. Out here, that'd be normal for a boy or a girl.
And I could run one, too.
Then why don't you?
Well, I'm a lady. Anyway, I wouldn't know where to start now.
And start by being honest. With yourself first. For example, why did you ride out here? What did you want?
Honest?
Yes.
I wanted to come right up to you and say, stop calling me ma'am. I know you're not really hired help. You have a way of upsetting me every time that you walk into the room.
That might be dangerous for a lady.
You said to be honest. Well, I'm a woman, too.
In a week, I intend to be 1,000 miles from here.
Oh, Paladin.
I think we'd better ride back, Miss O'Banion. We wouldn't want to get caught out here after dark, would we? The ranch is pretty quiet. I wonder where everyone is.
Isn't it supposed to be this way? Just you and I. We're the only ones left on earth.
Alan,
Jake?
Cyrus is back.
Where?
Inside. What can I do?
That depends on Miss O'Banion. She's the boss here.
Oh, but...
Are those the ranch books?
Yeah.
Give them to me. Maggie, you're broke.
broke.
Your range is stripped clean. Cyrus has the power to sign loans, and he's used it.
Oh, no. What'll I do?
You'll help yourself or you'll lose the place.
Well.
Cyrus.
Wondered where everybody was. I see you've been going to a lot of trouble. My bucks, huh?
That's right.
I wouldn't worry too much about them. See, what's to worry about are these notes I hold right here.
Notes?
That's what I was going to tell you. Cyrus obligated this ranch with several loans. Sold your cattle, pocketed the money, and used the money to buy the loan papers back.
All I have to do is demand payment. Oh, and speaking of debts, mister, don't you owe me something from our first meeting?
I was coming to that.
Now, wait a minute. I just collect guns. I don't use them. Now, it's your move. Fine. That's just what I wanted you to do.
Watch his knife, Mr. Paladin.
And now it ain't murder, is it? Just self-defense. I'm going to cut you open like a pumpkin.
Hold it. The next bullet won't be wasted on the air. Put that knife down or I'll kill you, Cyrus, right where you stand.
I'd do it if I were you, Cyrus. Maggie O'Banion's taking over.
The knife, Cyrus. Drop it. Now, those notes, please.
You can't
Yes, I can. Now, get off my property.
She means what she says.
How'd they do, Paladin?
Fine, Maggie. Fine.
What are you doing back in San Francisco?
Waiting to see you.
I think that's horrid. I just managed to get Roger straightened around to where he's decent to me again, and now you show up.
Would you rather I left again?
He's terribly difficult.
What did we do the last time he became difficult?
We went out to dinner and had a perfectly charming evening.
Then may I suggest that we do the same thing again tonight?
8 o'clock is always a good hour.
Until then, dear lady.
Until then.
Have Gun, Will Travel. Created by Herb Meadow and Sam Rolfe, is produced and directed by Norman McDonnell, and stars John Daner as Paladin, with Ben Wright as Hayboy. Tonight's story was written by Gene Roddenberry and adapted for radio by John Dawson. Featured in the cast were Lynn Allen, Harry Bartell, Barney Phillips, and Virginia Gregg. Hugh Douglas speaking.
Have Gun Will Travel is brought to you through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.